Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing great. So, this video is in continuation of the podcast with Marco Morales, basically part 3 of the same. So, if you haven't watched the part 2 already, you can just go to the link which is shown above. So, enjoy the video. Want to ask like what is the future of AI and Web3 like in your opinion, like together basically, like how they can collaborate in terms of like as like we are seeing like AI needs some regulation. So I think in that point blockchain can come. So how are you seeing that?
Um, yeah, I know that that's something that's been thrown around a bit,
Yeah.
but I'm not really convinced that that's a natural fit. I think blockchain is a technology, AI is a technology,
Yeah.
but one doesn't necessarily um, make a better match than anything else for the other. So, you know, AI needs regulation, just like blockchain also needs regulation. And so I
Yeah.
don't see a natural mix in there. I think some people are saying that, well, you could create AI, some sort of AI signature that can be then encoded so that you can create an NFT so that it's unique and so on. But that's such a flimsy way to do it. You can get around it in so many ways that it's almost useless. In the end, blockchain as a way to certify that something is what it says it is, right? It's a unique tracker in a way. Um, that's fine, but I can generate 10,000 images in 2 seconds that you know are all unique. So are you going to encode all of them?
Yeah.
How much encoding are you going to do? And all I have to do is use an AI that removes the coding in order for it to then not be attached to that anymore. So I think the regulations for AI, the European Union has already released a draft or what do you call it? It's not a draft. It's let me have a look. European Union for
Yeah, and also
AI.
like I've seen like a kind of agreement or petition signed by like some of the like reputed personalities in terms of basically stopping or like preventing the
No,
development
no,
of
forget about that. Forget about that.
AI
I
further.
mean, Elon Musk was one of the people writing, saying, "Oh, they have to stop. They have to stop."
Yeah.
And then the next month, he started his own company. He was just
Yeah.
trying to stop them so that he could catch up. So no, none of that. Now, the European Union has an initial regulatory framework, and it's looking at it from the perspective of the potential harm that it can cause, and that's how much you regulate it. So, from the top of my head, it was something like a relative no harm, then it doesn't need much regulation. A little bit of harm needs a little bit of regulation. A lot of harm needs a lot of regulation. That sort of thing. So, um, from a risk minimization perspective, that's how the European Union created this initial draft, but now it has to be worked to see how do you enforce it, how do you actually track the technology to detect whether something is being used or not using AI, and how do you decide what is high risk or low risk. So, it's a first step towards legislation, but it's got a long way to go, and it's going to be everywhere, right? It's like I said, AI has been around for a long time already.
Yeah.
Um, and many other things, people say, oh, you can recreate images. It's like, yeah, we've also had photocopiers for a very long time. We've had scanners for a very long
Yeah.
time. We've had already the technology to make copies of something else a long time. Um, So I think there's a lot of negative hype, a lot of fear mongering, a lot of stress that is not warranted. I think AI will change a lot of things, It will disrupt a lot. And I think there will be people who will be left behind, right? Just like with climate change, we're talking about doing things better for the environment.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it turns out that it's not good for, let's say, farmers to to keep so many cows or livestock because it's bad for the environment. So of course, farmers who own livestock farms are going to be very upset. They're
Yeah.
not going to want to change. So there's always going to be someone who suffers these radical changes. But I don't think this is as sudden or as radical as everybody thinks. It's at the moment it's just the hype, right?
Yeah.
And today it's like, oh, AI is here, it's gonna take my job away.
Yeah.
Just give it a year, and we're not talking about the metaverse today, are we? Right? That was last year's hype,
Yeah.
and the year before was what was it? 5G,
5G, yeah,
right?
5G technology.
And I can't remember the year before that. So every year is something different. This
Yeah.
year is ChatGPT and AI. Next year, it'll be something else. The year after, it'll be something else. Meanwhile, um, if you, for example, I was talking to a data scientist who has been working on a generative AI um, program for the last 7 years
Mm.
to fine tune it in order to read and automate the management of power that wind turbines are picking up, right? So this is here in Holland. And he was saying that they had this AI engine, they implemented it 7 years ago, and they're
Okay.
still tweaking it and improving it, and it's still being slowly rolled out and doing some things and not others because they need so many tests to make sure that it doesn't fail. So, 7 years just to tweak this one thing. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to take also a long time before we see this sort of applications that people are imagining right now.
Yeah.
It's like if you get substituted by an AI, who's going to tell the AI what to do? Your boss? Is he going to, start going over and say, oh, AI, this is what I need, and something comes out? Is he going to know if it's correct or not?
Okay.
So you still need people in the system. You still need the person who's going to now use the AI as a tool,
Okay. So
right? Just
like,
like
is there a point in future like where like you can see like AI will turn into something like Ultron of Avengers?
I mean, yes and no, right? How far into the future do you want to go?
Yeah.
Personally, I think that the only way for us to become a multiplanetary species is going
Hmm.
to have to be by adapting to space, right?
Yeah.
We can't take our bodies uh, to live nicely and for generations in a planet that we're not built for. So we're going to have to change. And that change it can come from technology or from tweaking the DNA, but we're going to have to
Yeah.
evolve. So what humans look like on planet Earth is not going to be the same as what humans look like on Mars a few generations down the track,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
So if you look at it from that perspective, then technology is just one more extension of us. From the moment that the first monkey grabbed a stick in order to reach further to grab food, it was
Yeah.
using a tool to expand its capability,
Yeah. Totally.
right? From that moment on, we've been using tools to expand our capability ever since, whether
Hmm.
it's the wheel or whether it's the car or rockets or whatever you want to think. It's always humans making technology to expand ourselves.
Okay.
So AI is just one more bit of technology that is expanding what we can do.
Okay.
Um,
That makes a lot
so
of sense.
there's going to be a lot more to come. AI is just, I think, one cog among so many others, whether it's quantum computing or whether it's biohacking or whether it's DNA with CRISPR, that you can start splicing the DNA changing it. So it's
Cyborgs.
just one. Yeah,
Cyborgs basically,
exactly.
yeah.
Cyborgs and humanoids and
Yeah.
Boston Dynamics creating this Spot the robot that walks around. So
Yeah.
the future is coming at the right pace, right? I used to complain, it's like, where's my jetpack? Where's my flying car?
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see it, but still, it's not like everybody's walking around with a jetpack. It's not like we're all driving self-guided cars.
Yeah. Actually, even the
And yet,
EVs, like even the EVs are not everywhere till now.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And we're like, oh, drones. Oh, well, finally, the drones are here.
Yeah.
But the drones are really slow to come over, right?
Totally.
You still don't see the drones as you see in some TV shows that they're going everywhere, right? There's a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of ideas of using drones to deliver anything from pizza to relief in disaster areas, right?
Yeah.
But it's still very few and far between. Only
Yeah.
some people have access, and they're still, working on the technology. So things take time, even though it seems that they don't. They're getting faster, but they still take time.
Yeah, I think the affordability is also a factor here, and also the need.
Mm-hmm.
Need. Like if we really need that, then like we don't think whether we can afford or not. We'll just buy buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the good news, right? The world is changing, but it's changing at the right pace, so you can adapt, learn it, and figure out where do you fit, uh, how to reorganize yourself so that you can make the most of all the new things that are happening.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So like last for last, I would basically like to know any advice or suggestion that you like to give to the youngsters who are basically having some creative mentality driven by curiosity and all, and who wants to basically like build something like innovative, like as we are discussing here. So any advice that you want to give?
Yeah, first of all, follow your curiosity, never abandon it. That's number one. Um, Also, something that take it little step by little step, so that even if your dreams are big, you accomplish something. It's better to take that little step while you have that big picture in your mind than to try to aim for the big picture and not making it because it's just too hard to get
Yeah.
there. So it's better bit by bit. And if you change your perspective or your decision, if you pivot along the way and you decide, yeah, that's a bad idea, or I'm not interested anymore, that's okay too, right? You
Yeah.
learn so much along the way. You take that knowledge with you in whatever you do next. So um, another thing that I like to suggest is to do some back casting. So instead of forecasting,
Hmm.
it's like imagine not not what you have today and how you can improve it. Imagine what is the ideal scenario. So just ignore what's already around you. Think of what is the ideal scenario and then
Hmm.
work backwards to
Hmm.
see, if you work backwards, what steps do you need to take today to get to that ideal space?
Steve Jobs basically. Steve Jobs quotes like how to join the dots backwards, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think those are good things to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And another good idea is find your tribe, find your allies, find the people who are going to share that excitement so that you can build it together. And the more you have, the
Yeah.
bigger the results.
Yeah, I think that's the challenging part basically to find the like-minded people.
Hmm.
We just don't find them randomly. We I think need to
It's hard.
yeah,
It is hard. It's worth it.
totally.
And we are such a weird bunch that even when you meet others, it can be that you're only together working on a project and then you move away again. So
Yeah,
make the most of the time that you have together.
totally. Learn from each other.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and enjoy it. Make sure
yeah,
you enjoy it.
totally. That's superb advices. And yeah. So like it's really nice catching up with you and like getting to know a lot from you and like sharing immense knowledge. Thanks a lot for that. And I will definitely like try to connect with you one more time,
Hmm.
and I think we can deep dive into space more, space exploration
For
and all.
sure.
Yeah,
And thank you for inviting me.
yeah, no worries at all. And like it's really wonderful, like all like wonderful experience with you, and getting to know
Hmm.
a lot, like a lot of valuable information. And thanks for sharing with me and the audience. It really means a lot.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Feel free to also send me any questions, and if I can provide any links or anything extra, so
sure
that
thing.
you've got that reference there. Because I couldn't think of a few things on the spot, so I
Okay,
need to look at the name of the Venus Sat
okay,
designer and a few other bits. So
yeah.
feel free to follow up.
Sure thing. So that like I can like add the same in the video description, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Sure thing. Okay, yeah. Thanks for joining in again and see you soon. Okay, bye.
Cool.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed all the videos and get to know a lot about Marco Morales, especially regarding his enthusiasm towards space exploration, AI arts and all. So I'll be sharing the links of the part 1 and part 2 of the podcast in the description down below. So you guys can definitely check them out as well. So thanks for watching. See you soon in the next video.